everyone. Welcome to the Scene at Work series live. I am joined by three colleagues, also friends, who are here, and we're going to talk about collaboration today. So I'm Katie McLaughlin, founder of the McLaughlin Method, and today the Scene at Work series is focused on where we discover how to be seen at work by making a scene at work. And think of this kind of as a snapshot of a McLaughlin Method workshop, so you can see what it's like to work with me and how I bring this theater thing into my workshops. With me today, I've got Alyssa. Wave hello for us. Tani.
Hi.
And Ehab.
Hello.
And today's topic, collaboration. So before we get to that topic, let's just do a quick little warm up, guys. Let's just shake it out, move your body, raise your arms up in the air, a thing we never do on our little box, shake it out if you want to. Okay, great. And now make a funny face. If you need to make sounds, it's okay too. Cool. So yeah, we always have a bit of fun in McLaughlin Method workshops and always try to just be a little silly just to start. So one of the techniques that I use is all focused on the concept of an image is worth 1,000 words. So we all know that phrase, right? And so we're going to be the ones creating an image. And I'll give you a prompt. We'll all create a static image using our body, our facial expressions, as if someone took a snapshot of us. And that image is going to communicate in more than just a quick word or a quick sentence would about our response to that prompt. So the reason why we do that is that it helps us to see a bit of kind of the emotions behind different things at work. And the importance of that is because our emotions affect the actions that we're going to take at work. And the actions we take at work get results, good or bad. And so if we're not getting the results we want, we need to change our actions. The only way to change our actions is to influence and change those emotions so we can do that in the order that actually gets us the results we're looking for. So let's check it out again. Okay, great. It's for me too. Okay, great. So let's create an image. We want to make it larger than life, really big, so that way it can try to be as clear as possible to our other friends here on the call with us or watching it later. So let's create an image of how we feel when we are on vacation. So think about that feeling, how it feels when you're on vacation, and you're going to express that feeling to us in a bigger than life image. And I'll do, create your image, and I'll do a 3, 2, 1 action, and we'll all create it at the exact same time. So nobody's being singled out. We're all being silly at the same time. Okay. Got an idea? Everybody feeling good? All right. Create an image of how you feel when you are on vacation. 3, 2, 1, action. And hold it. Alrighty, and shake it off. Awesome. Okay, now we're gonna do that one more time, and make sure that you can use your eyeballs to see what other people are doing, but still maintain kind of the integrity of that image. Okay. So ready? 3, 2, 1, action. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So shake that off. Did any quick commentary? What did you notice? Was there any similarities, differences across those images? Feel free to actually speak.
I saw some elation and I saw some calm. So I noticed a little bit of similar but different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I saw the same thing, kind of like when you're on vacation and the way you feel versus the prospect of vacation, which is like, oh my God, I'm on vacation. So,
Yes. Yes, yeah, absolutely. And you really picked up on the fact that we're all very different people. We all have different experiences, different backgrounds. The word vacation means a lot of different things to all of us, right? But there's some synergy and there's some resemblance across each other with kind of that emotional experience. And we can, flesh that out and talk about like, why is that valuable for the workplace? How does that help us to kind of connect and see each other as humans? But at the very base level, we've really jump-started that empathy process by realizing that we're not actually that different from each other, just initially, right? So let's dig into today's topic, and that is collaboration. Now, before I give any context about collaboration, I want us to create an image of what we feel when we need to collaborate at work. No wrong answers. I just want you to think about, you need to collaborate at work, and we're going to create an image of that. All right? So ready? 3, 2, 1, action. Okay, cool. You can unfreeze. All right, what did we notice in that image if we had to try to describe what we saw?
I think Ahab and I were both ready to lean in.
Mm.
And Alyssa was ready to share.
Yeah. What else?
For me, it was absolutely Tanya, like sort of the lean in, listen in, learn in kind of thing. So
Okay, cool. So based on that, am I gathering that there's kind of a positive inclination towards collaboration from this
Yes.
group?
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
cool. Okay, so I want to have us put ourselves in the shoes of someone we've had to collaborate with. And I want to, because I know that we all really enjoy this group, we all enjoy collaborating with each other, or everybody wouldn't be here today. But I want us to think about somebody else. And I'd encourage you to think about someone else who you don't maybe collaborate well with or mesh well with, okay? And so think about, let's start with ourselves first. Let's think about how we feel going into a collaboration with that person who we've already identified as not somebody that we collaborate well with, or it's not evoking that same feeling that we just had. Okay, everybody have something in mind? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna create an image of how it feels to be collaborating with that kind of person. Okay. So ready? 3, 2, 1, action. Yeah, larger than life. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, shake that off. Ooh, really shake that off. And now I made a sound and I made a face, and that's because it wasn't as positive, right? But so what are we seeing in that, in our images?
Some possible frustration, I noticed tightness in the body.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, fear of what they're going to say or not say, kind of, like the tense stomach a little bit, so it's a little tough to express, but more body, it just felt more physical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more angsty.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And so when we are in that place, right, that's our kind of emotional landscape. What actions are likely to result? Like, what actions are we likely to take as a result of feeling that way when collaborating with this person? There's no wrong answers here, so feel free to throw out any ideas you might have.
Probably shortness.
Yeah.
Tentative, like tentative speaking, or being very careful with our words.
Right. Yeah. And like the whole reason why we collaborate, right, is because we're all needed, in that scenario, right? And so if we're being tentative or maybe being short with someone, we're likely to then generate an emotional response from that person that we're needing to collaborate with, right? And then they're now going to have actions that are going to then continue to ping pong and affect us. So the results that we need to obtain and that we're hoping for out of that collaboration is a better together, right, kind of result. It is much more difficult for us to get at that better together, right, kind of feeling if we're not taking actions that are contributing to that. And then if that's fueled by this emotional kind of landscape, right? Now, we can't control the person on the other side, right? But what we can do is we can be aware of what we've observed in the past, or what we're actively observing in the other person when we have to go into these scenarios to collaborate, right? So we're going to hypothesize here for a moment, because all we have is our own experience, unless we're actually given like descriptions from another person, really honest sharing of why they might have their same challenges collaborating with you. Okay. So I want you to picture, again, that same person and this atmosphere that feels typical to you of how it's like to collaborate with them. And I want you to create an image of that person and how you perceive they're coming into a collaboration with you. Okay. So essentially we're creating an image that's kind of like an archetype of who we think they are, especially from that kind of like emotional presence perspective, how they're stepping into that collaboration. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. What I'm asking you to do?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So take a second, kind of think about that emotion. Again, we want to make this larger than life. This is the emotion or the energy that is essentially like starting your feeling that you just created, right? So, alrighty. So let's create an image of that person who's coming in to collaborate with us that we just created an image about how we felt about it. Okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1, action. Yeah. Okay. Whew, shake that up. We got some interesting energy coming into that collaboration, huh? Okay. So I want to invite us to share kind of what we see in that other person, maybe just giving a little bit of a voice towards your own experience. So feel free to.
I can start quick. I don't know if, Tanya, you had this, but sort of like this arms crossed, like, what do you have to say kind of thing. The archetype of what I was trying to.
Yeah, totally. Closed offness, just like waiting for something else, not really willing or ready to contribute, and just more like a wall rather than an inviting space.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I went a different route where I see this person as like very stretched thin and like unable to focus on things. So they're kind of out here when I'm trying to be in here, possibly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and my image was like, this, because in this instance, this particular relationship that I'm thinking about, this person kind of comes in always ready to fight. And, and there's kind of always this thing that I feel like I have to combat, right? Whenever someone's kind of being a really big presence in a room or being like angry or what have you, sometimes it feels like you need to match that, right? In order to do that. And then for me, it feels like I just have to be ready to fight, when in reality, I don't want to fight. Like, I like collaborating, but I don't want to fight, yeah. So, excuse me, now that we've kind of thought this through, what would we describe as things we need when we are collaborating in order to achieve that like positive image that we created of how we like to, how we feel about collaborating, which from all of us is a positive thing, right? So how do we feel positive? What are the environments, the activities, the energy? What do we need in that kind of environment in order to achieve that?
Yeah, like an openness, like
Okay.
an invitation to be there and to share.
Okay. Can you say a little bit more about what would that look like? Like, how would someone know they were doing that?
To me, it's body language. And I think that's why I put my arms closed, because I think this is like a big tell for me when somebody's like, there's really like a translation, right? I think when people are kind of like here, ready to listen, ready to share, they're usually not closed off with their body.
Cool. Thank you. What else do we need?
I think for me, it's sort of minimal hierarchy. So like everybody is sort of in this coming together, and that there's at least a shared respect and a shared understanding of what we're trying to do, what goal we're trying to do, and so it's pretty flat and kind of a shared vision or shared problem that we're collaborating on. Those are starting out.
Yeah. How would we know that we did that? Like, what's an action that we maybe could take in order to really tell us that?
I think a brief summary of where we've been, kind of what the problem is, like actually trying to write that and making sure everybody aligns with it, and then a little bit about maybe people's their starting point, where they're starting with the problem, and that will expose their assumptions, values, what their goals are.
Cool. And in this instance, when you say problem, it's the thing that we're trying to collaborate on?
That's right.
Okay.
I'm assuming we're collaborating to get from point A to point B, kind of what that journey looks like.
Right.
Because the worst thing is to collaborate on something that we don't agree on what the problem is. So.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no, if we're not on the same page, we're already like bringing in feelings of confusion, resistance, right? Like, what am I here for? Right. Yeah. Cool. Alyssa, any thoughts of what you might need?
Yeah, just to add to these things, for me, there always also just needs to be a base level of trust. So that's often built over time, but in a kind of one-off scenario, similar to what Tani and Ehab are talking about, I need to understand, like, where is this person coming from? Like, what do they need right now? Like, what do they need from this scenario? I want to understand that. And then I want to be able to communicate my needs in this scenario so we can figure out, are we even in the right place at the right time to have this conversation and have something good come out of it together? Or do we need to reconfigure and figure out a different scenario for this?
Yeah. What I'm hearing there is also kind of an undertone of like this general agreement that we want to be stepping into a conversation with all of us at our best, right? And to hopefully lay a foundation where we can speak up and let people know how we can show up as our best, right? Whether that's a timing thing. I think about Alyssa, your example was that this other person appears really stretched thin, right? But there's still this need. There's still that A to B problem, that Ehab said about needing to get something done. And so how do we find the timing, the location, the format that can help fit into each of our schedules, so that way we can still kind of get that done, right? Cool. Yeah, so just to kind of recap a few things that I heard was, being aware of your body language when you come into collaboration conversations or events, and that you might unknowingly be giving off a vibe of not being open, right? But also, in order to collaborate, we need to be open to what might come, right? There was also the idea here of establishing and recapping, what are we here to do? What are our goals? And identifying, I like what you said, Ehab, too, of what, where are we at currently with this scenario? Maybe some of us have already done some work, right? And so maybe that's bringing in some hesitation of like, why? I feel like I already started this. Why am I here? Why are y'all here, right? Maybe there's different skills or roles or things like that that need to be identified. So that way we're not just making all these assumptions, right? Yeah. And then, Alyssa, I loved your additions here as well of that broader building of trust, which takes place over time. It's not necessarily just from this one instant. And that we also need to be curating and cultivating those experiences around collaboration that will result in us all showing up in the best way we can, right? So we can get those results that we're looking for. Great. Well, I'm actually going to have us kind of wrap up here together. And I'd love to hear from each of you, just kind of, first of all, a quick action item that you think you could take based off of this session that maybe an insight or, again, something that you could take back to your collaboration scenarios in the work that you do. So that way you can set yourself up for success.
I think what I heard that was sort of a bit of an aha was some people may not be ready to collaborate, whether they're overworked or they don't have the right information or it's not the right time. Those are things that we kind of, I do sort of a mental shortcut to try to, say we're all, I assume that we're here for collaborating, but there's some people, they may have said yes, but they may not be ready, and that doesn't speak less of them. It's just that they are, as Alyssa said, spread thin, and that's something we should appreciate.
Great, thank you.
I think mine is. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Tani.
No, along those same lines, I think action item that I would take is to carve out that time in the beginning to make sure I'm not coming in with any assumptions, whether it's based off body language or anything else, and to just make sure that I'm presenting and unpacking maybe where I'm coming from as an invitation to hear from everyone else and to establish whether or not we're on the same page, I think is a great way to get started rather than just jumping right in.
Yeah, I think mine is on a similar note of just a reminder to focus on I can only control what I do and not what anyone else is doing in any scenario. So it's a reminder to me to make time and space for that self-care before going into a collaboration where I might have the ability to be more open regardless of what other things are happening with the people I'm working with.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for that. I know for me, I'm feeling a very similar kind of reminder here of take a moment, whether that's 5-10 minutes before collaboration, especially in those instances where I'm not sure what's kind of coming in from the other people, or I have an assumption that it's not positive, right? Kind of just getting myself clear, right, on where I am with that, and maybe even like outlining some things that I need in order to like join this call, in a positive way, or a conversation or what have you. And, practice asking for that, right? I think that's the other bit is we really need to get our reps in practicing doing something, because the more we do something, the better we can be at it. So great. Lastly, I guess I'll just ask, any reactions to doing these activities? How did it feel? Any words of advice or suggestions to other people who might be entering into activities like this?
Yeah, it felt a little bit scary at first, but shaking it out really helps, and knowing we're all in it together. Yeah, you warm up to it. It's good. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the acting out, especially in folks I collaborate with, maybe engineers who tend not to be as expressive, so you can't read them as much. I think there is some importance to being, present, transparent, because it goes a long way. There's a lot more information you could share in a collaboration than just your words. So.
Right.
And I think like I just really like adding that lightness. It can be hard sometimes too when we're all on Zoom all the time and not always getting to collaborate in person. So just adding a little bit of lightness to being on video all the time felt really nice.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much for coming here, playing with me, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Katie.